Hey everyone, it's Angela with Mystic Moon, bringing you guys your weekly forecast. And so today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to break this reading up into 7 different categories using this deck right here, which is called Ask the Oracle by Rising Sun Oracle. So this deck is comprised of 7 different categories, which include career, lifestyle changes, relationships, what's holding us back, life challenges, direction/advice, and timelines. So of course, just take what resonates for you and get rid of anything that does not. All the decks I'll be using here, I'll let you guys know what they are as I shuffle each deck. Everything will be listed down below, as well as this beautiful orgonite, which is called the Mystic Moon Nude, created by Michelle from Wing and Bell. So if I sound a little kind of just like uppity and I'm hopped up on caffeine right now, not only am I having my morning coffee, but I have had a couple of doses of, just my medication that has caffeine in order to stave off a migraine. So if I sound a little, kind of chaotic, that's all that it is. It's just that time of month for me where my monthly migraine comes, and I really thought I was going to have it full blown this morning, which is kind of nice that I don't have it because I'm able to bring you guys this reading, but at the same time, it will be coming at some point. So anyways, I'm doing my best to just keep my head above water right now, but let's just get into this reading. I feel good enough to do this today right now, so let's do it. Let's get it going. Let's see what we need to know for this week for you guys. Why don't we go ahead and start off with career? So there's only a few cards, of course, in this category for career, but we're going to choose one. What does Spirit want us to know this week when it comes to career? Let's do this one. Ooh, what can I do to stand out? Very cool. So not everything that's listed in this card is what we need to do, but these are great examples of how we can stand out. So if you're in the kind of job or you're wanting to go into a particular field where there's going to be a lot of competition, you're going to need to be original. You're going to need to find a way to stand out. So some of the examples on this card are this: learn to speak a foreign language fluently. Diversity is key and valued. Always act with integrity. So I know here in the States that if you do not know Spanish, you're probably not going to get hired as a customer service representative or, just being in some sort of industry where you're dealing with customer service, right? So if some of you guys are wanting to do something specific like that, it may be that it's time to learn a foreign language. Also, too, this is talking about always act with integrity. Well, of course, when we're kind of looking at what other people are doing and we're kind of copying what they're doing or even stealing ideas, and I'm not suggesting that anyone is doing that, but sometimes we can get a little lazy and just kind of want to piggyback off of what other people are doing. Well, they're successful. I'm just going to do what they're doing. I'm just going to recreate what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by what you're seeing, but when you're making something your own. So I also feel like this is Spirit's way of letting us know that we don't need to be like everyone else. We can do our own thing. Let's take these ideas or these inspirations that we're receiving from what we're seeing, but let's really put our own original spin on it. Let's stand out. Let's do something that we feel good about, right? So yeah, it's time to stand out. It's time to really focus on your particular talents and craft and how you're original, and just really, really focus on that at this time. So we're going to go into my Earth and Sky Oracle and see what else we need to know about career. Maybe take an additional class, maybe get that certification. I remember when my old assistant, Victoria, she was the accountability coach. And so she had lost all of her weight, and she knew a lot about helping people because of what she went through herself. And so it was kind of like, using her own examples and really inspiring people. But one thing that she did feel a little insecure about is that she wasn't necessarily certified in like certain programs such as nutrition and exercise and things like that. So what she did even though it was going to be exhausting for her, it was so important to her that she pushed herself through school and did it. So not only was she assisting for me, and she was also, running her own social media and doing some stuff on the side, she also was going to school, and she finally obtained her certification. And let me tell you guys, when she finally got that certification, it's almost like it just completely changed everything. She felt more confident. She felt like, she could really put herself out there and build her brand, because, that is important, of course, to people. People want to know that, hey, you've gone to school, you're certified for this, et cetera, et cetera. So I just feel like if that's what you guys need, that extra boost to be able to do what you love, take that class, get that certification, do what you need to do. Right? So you can feel like you're acting with integrity. And I know that she was always coming from a very, like a place of integrity, but it's kind of like some people don't really take you seriously unless you have that certification, right? And of course, then you have your haters too, that will try to, kind of attack you if you're not certified. So, she went through all of that. And now that she's certified, man, she is kicking ass and taking names, you guys. So anyways, we're going to go into my Earth and Sky Oracle and get another additional message here. We have flamingo. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is so cool. We have structure and grace. I'm sorry, not structure, stature and grace, vibrant and outgoing, social atmospheres and connectedness. I'm also getting here that this is about networking. This is about connecting with other people. This is also perhaps about collaborating with others, maybe putting yourself in a more social atmosphere. If you guys are trying to build a brand, these are just some examples. This is about really learning social media, maybe even taking a social media class, maybe taking the time to learn, let's just say, creative programs such as Canva or Adobe Photoshop, things that will really help you to stand out above all the rest. And so we are being asked to learn these things so we can connect with others, but we can also do it with flair and style and really feel good about what we're doing. I love this. So if you guys are really wanting to, let's just say also to shift your career into something where you're going to be having a little bit more fun, working with people instead of behind a desk, this is another push to start to figure out key ways that you can make that happen. So you can start going towards that instead of staying stuck indoors or kind of like, let's just say, doing something that you don't really enjoy or you're not having fun with. All right. So let's go into my Treasure Trove Tarot. And this deck, by the way, you guys, yes, it's available on my international site always, but if you guys are within the US, it's currently sold out. This deck did really well. It's currently sold out right now in my US shop, but it will be back in my shop, I believe, sometime this week, just to let you guys know. All right, what do we need to know about the career? Oh my gosh, how interesting. The Hermit. So what is the Hermit being asked to do? The Hermit is actually being asked to come out of the shell. That's the flamingo. The flamingo is very, very social, completely different than the Hermit. The Hermit does their own thing. They do their own research. They are all about their own time. They don't want to be on somebody else's time. So some of you guys might have some uncomfortability with that kind of energy. Connecting with others. If you connect with others, then it's kind of like, then I'm going to be maybe, I'm going to have to answer to someone else, or I'm going to have to be on someone else's time. I don't really like that. I don't really want that. So I feel like some of you guys might just want to kind of independently do your own thing, but this is about balancing the two. It means, yes, you can continue to do your own thing, but also it's kind of nice to come out of that shell every now and then and share your energy with others, or join some sort of group, or have a little bit more fun with what you do. Maybe expand your horizons with, going out with those coworkers, or making new contacts. But if we're in our own little cave feeling really safe, then really anything that we want to do, where we want to attract new things, or we want new things to happen for ourselves, those things are probably not going to happen because we're very comfortable in our little shell. So I do feel like that we're being asked to kind of come out of our comfort zone a little bit. This is really lopsided. Sorry about that. Let me just kind of move this way. Yeah, my camera's just a little stand, I think, is not properly. Let me just kind of move this. Oh, come on, man. All right, there we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. It's just driving me weird or crazy. Driving me weird, yeah. So yes, I just feel that this is telling us that we need to kind of get out of our little shell. We need to kind of get out of that mode of we can do it all ourselves. In some aspects you can, but it might be better or time to open yourself up to new ways of learning, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. Maybe add a splash of something new, and that might require you stepping out of your comfort zone or opening yourself up to people and new relationships. And that might be scary for some of you guys, but I feel like you can kind of manage both. You might feel like if you open your horizons or you do something different, then you're going to like lose out on that you time. And I'm seeing here, if you manage your time properly and you don't overextend yourself and you set healthy boundaries, you will be able to do both. I really like that. So I just feel like you guys can work for yourselves if that's what you want to do. Maybe work for yourselves and social media is a part of that. Or if it has nothing to do with it, you're not working for yourself, you're working with a company, or you're just kind of very safe and secure with what you're doing, you're being asked to kind of come out of that shell. I like it, stand out, but like come out of that shell because you want something new. You want something else. You want to experience a little bit more pizzazz and zest or life in your current atmosphere. But it won't happen unless you put yourself out there. So you got to take a little bit of a risk, got to take a little bit of a chance. So that's what we have for the career this week. I hope that makes sense and that connected with somebody out there. So now we're going to go into lifestyle changes, right? What can we do to create some lifestyle changes, some changes that we want in our lives? Let's see what the cards have to say for this category. Address your issues of intimacy. So it kind of coincides with that whole hermit energy. All right. If some of you guys just feel better just doing your own thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But is this stemming from a fear of connecting with others? And the only reason I say this is because of the flamingo. The flamingo is very social. The flamingo is in atmospheres where there are other people. They're connecting with other people. So is there this lack of either confidence or this lack of, or not a lack, but do we feel uncomfortable putting ourselves out there? Do we feel uncomfortable being around other people? Do we kind of clam up? Now, I'm more of an introvert. I absolutely hate concerts. I hate bars. I hate any place where there's a lot of people. So I avoid it like the plague because it might be an anxiety thing, or it could just be that I just don't like a lot of, it's like almost like a stimulation overload, right? And some of you guys might just have that, and that's perfectly fine. You do have to kind of honor that you just don't feel good in those types of social atmospheres. So it's not saying that, oh, you need to come out of your shell completely. You need to just start doing this and you need to start going out and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. But as long as we remain in that hermit shell, and if we, let's just say, want new things to happen for ourselves, we want to explore new avenues. We want, again, new things to happen. It's not really going to happen as long as we're in this cave. So again, we are being kind of asked to address why we're afraid, why we're scared, why we feel the way that we do, right? And also I know for me too, I hold back on on doing a lot of stuff. And I've certainly done this a lot in the past where I have a really hard time just being completely open to what other people want to do. It's like I have my way of doing things. It makes complete sense to me. I'm a Virgo moon. Hermit is Virgo card, right? So I kind of feel sometimes that my way is the best way. And it is hard for me sometimes to just kind of open myself up to the fact that maybe somebody else's way could be better. So it could also be that stubborn ass energy too for some of us. So we're being asked to address why we feel the way that we do. And it might be time again to, address why we're feeling maybe scared, irritable, have anxiety about kind of making changes in our life, doing something new. Because remember, this category is lifestyle changes, you guys. If you want your life to change, you've got to put yourself out there to some degree. You can't just sit on the couch and expect all the changes to come to you. Life does not work that way. So depths of the sea oracle, we're going to go into for this lifestyle change. Alignment pebbles. Talk about needing everything to be in perfect alignment. Well, that's really difficult if you're the kind of person that needs to have things in a certain way, in a certain order. I keep getting that Virgo energy because I can identify with that. I know a lot of Virgos too. So, it's not to say like, oh, all Virgos are this way and that's a bad thing. Virgos, have the ability to organize things and run businesses and be bosses. And I mean, there's a lot of positive things about Virgo energy, but sometimes there can be issues that come up with that kind of behavior. Needing to control everything, or, needing to, my way is the only way, my way is the best way, can sometimes create issues with other people. So we're being asked to address our issues of intimacy on how we interact with other people. If something is not in alignment with us, yes, of course, you have the the free will, and also like being discerning on what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you, right? But I feel like we're being asked to kind of go deeper this week to figure out, why are we so closed off to connecting with others? Why are we so closed off to doing things differently? Okay. Why are we so stuck in our ways? If that's resonating with you. So this is my Twin Flame Journey Tarot. Let's go ahead and get a tarot card on this. That lion wants to just stay in the cave. Absolutely. Feels better just hanging back. Feels that the position is better to just not act. And what I want to say is this: I'm not trying to push anyone, because there are certain times where I just know something is not in alignment with me. I just know that something is probably just not going to pan out. And that doesn't mean that it's the other people. I just know my issues. And so if I haven't resolved my crap and my issues, then I know that it's probably best to kind of hang tight and hang back, stay in that hermit shell. But also, we can only use those excuses for so long. We can only use that excuse of, yeah, this just doesn't feel right for me. It's just not in alignment with what I really want to do. I want to call out, somebody that I know that's very close to me, that's like that. And it makes sense, because they're like a part of me. So I'm kind of calling them out without calling them out, but that's very much how they are. If something is just not in perfect alignment, they're just like, it's not for me. And I've seen this person miss out and skip out on a lot of great opportunities because of their feelings, because of their stubbornness to have things be a certain way. So I feel that the reason that a lot of this is coming up is because maybe some of you guys are having some issues in this department. Maybe you guys are just feeling like you're not even living your life at this point because nothing feels right. Sometimes when things don't feel 100% right, there's could be something for us to actually learn. So the answer isn't always going to be just do nothing. Hold yourself back from everything because it might not work out, or it might feel, you might have to feel something uncomfortable, or, whatever. Sometimes living is just taking risks. It's just taking chances. It's just taking the leap anyways and just going for it, right? So the only way that things are going to change in your life and that new things are going to start happening is if we kind of meet people halfway. We meet life halfway. That's what I feel like the message is this week. We meet life halfway. We meet others halfway. It can't just be all our way or no way. This very black and white thinking, I feel, has to stop. So if you guys are experiencing challenges with others, or you guys are feeling like your life really isn't improving, or it's not really kind of starting, that's because you got to do something different. We're being asked to do something different than we normally do it. We're being asked to get out there more, take that class, take that risk? How can you stand out? It's like you need to stand out. You need to put yourself out there. You can't just stay safe like this lion. You know, he looks very comfortable in that den. And he might feel convicted in his beliefs that this is the right thing to do. And hell, maybe it is for him. But are you happy? So if you're not happy and you want life to begin and you want things to happen for yourself, that's why I feel like we're being asked to address whatever issues that we're having when it comes to intimacy. Are we afraid? Are we holding ourselves back too much now? Do we need things to be perfect before we even take a risk? That's just not realistic. That's not how life works. It's just not how it works. What are we never going to love again? What are we never going to put ourselves out there again just because we might get hurt because of that one asshole from the past or that one person that just totally broke our trust? We can live our lives like that. You have free will. Absolutely, you can live your life like that. Or you can win some and lose some and just keep moving forward anyways. So there you go. That's what we got. Alrighty. Now we're going to move into relationships. This would be a good time to jump into the area of relationships. So let's do it. What's going on in relationships? All right. Why are you in a relationship? Okie dokie. Is your relationship satisfying? Do you love your partner? Do you want to be with someone else? So some of you guys could be in a relationship, or it could just be like a situationship, meaning that you are kind of with someone, you don't really know where you stand, or there's always this hope that things will improve, yet it never does. At the end of the day, do you even truly love this person, or is it just maybe an unhealthy, toxic tie? At the end of the day, too, do you think about maybe how things might be with someone else? Are you kind of thinking about the future of what life would be like without that person? Does it scare you? Are you just settling because it's better to have this than nothing? So I feel like there's a variety of different things that are coming up for people. So some people might be with someone that they're just not happy with or not really in love with, but yet it's safe. Or we're in an unsatisfactory situation where we're just not happy anyways, but we're still hanging on because it's easy. So this Arrows of Love Oracle here, let's see what we need to know. Okay, so this is actually 2. Oh, interesting. Is it true love or just a lover in the night? I feel like some of you guys are kind of torn. Some of you guys might be taking a situation where it's like a lover in the night, somebody who comes and goes, somebody who's just sometimes in your life and sometimes they're not in your life. Are we slapping a label on this and saying this is true love? So we're being asked to ask ourselves these questions. Does this relationship satisfy my needs? Am I happy? Am I truly, truly happy with this person? Or is this something else? So we have to kind of address our own needs. So even though this wasn't the exact message, I feel like it is kind of now going into this one here. Address your issues of intimacy. There's issues perhaps with the way, like maybe you want something to change with this person, or you want something to shift and change in your love life. But have you addressed issues from the past? Have you addressed issues that may have come up in this situation with this person? If there's some kind of dysfunction going on or a toxic cycle, moving from just one person to the next and thinking that it's going to be perfect is totally unrealistic. You know, if someone's not in alignment with you and you keep holding on, you're holding yourself back, you're restraining yourself from trying to make a relationship work, one that isn't working, one that just constantly is just on the edge of your life, never really truly turning into a relationship, you guys are doing yourself a disservice. You guys are actually holding yourself back from bringing forth new changes in your life because you're holding on to something that isn't working. That's what I'm getting here. Some of you guys are holding out for something because you see it as true love. But have we really, really examined what true love truly is? So somebody that's just in and out of your life, somebody that just sometimes returns your calls, sometimes doesn't, sometimes reaches out to you, but then generally ignores you, that's not true love. So I feel like that's a little bit of a tough love energy here for some. You guys want true love. You guys want maybe a new relationship or want to be with someone else, or you want to forget about an old person. But yet have you addressed these issues as why you're still thinking about this person, why you still feel the connection with this person, etc. There's some kind of issues on your part that need to be addressed, right? So let's go ahead and get some additional details. And we're actually going to get 3 cards because I feel like we need a little bit more here. A little bit more than just 1 card. Ooh, there's the Hermit again. Damn. So it could be a Virgo. We also had Leo show up in the Strength card, but Virgo, huge. But it's that Hermit energy. Hermit shell, solitude, right? It's either I'm just better off alone because I'm afraid, being a temporary lover in the night. I'm not really going to commit myself because I am afraid of my intimacy issues. I'm afraid of true love. Now, this could be somebody else that you guys are dealing with, but let me tell you something. You're not going to fix this person. You're not going to fix this person with positive thoughts. You're not going to fix this person by fixing yourself. If you are going to work on yourself for you. Don't work on yourself to try to win this person back or win this person over. If your person and you are meant to align, okay, you truly will. But if that's not happening, maybe that's happening because it's not for your highest good. It's not meant to be. Maybe this person is only meant to be a temporary person in your life, not a permanent one. So sometimes that's what we tend to do with these types of relationships, with people that are kind of into us, or they're kind of back and forth. It leaves us with this high and then low, high and then low. Not a therapist or a psychologist here, but look into either attachment styles. Sometimes our attachment style, what we think love is, stems from an unsatisfactory relationship with the parent. Why am I in a relationship? Why do I keep attracting the same relationship to myself over and over again? It could be that there's some sort of an issue from a past relationship, a trauma that's unhealed. That's why we're being asked to really look at it, really examine why we might be attracting the same kind of person, or maybe why we're attracting or we're even in a relationship with somebody that we don't truly love. Are we just doing this because that's what our parents did? That's what's expected of us? Are we afraid to be alone? Are there codependency issues here? What's going on? So I feel that if you guys are not feeling satisfied in your relationships, and this doesn't have to just be romantic, this can be friendships as well. There's this like fear of commitment. We're either attracted to people that can't commit, and there's a reason for it. That is a part of our attachment style. We go for people that don't truly want to be with us because that's what feels normal, that's what excites us, etc. Okay? Or it could just be that you're this person, you're the hermit. You can't fully commit. You can't fully just open yourself up and be intimate with someone because there is a lot of fear here for you. Your fear that this person will leave, your fear that this is only a temporary state. So it's just easier to just be very surface with people instead of fully immerse yourself and maybe trust the process of love. So there's some real issues here I'm seeing that need to be addressed. But I'm also getting, if that's not your issues, you guys, you have to ask yourself why, if this is your story, why you would continue to try to make a relationship with someone like this work. Why would you continue to hang on to somebody who's not making you a priority? This needs to be addressed. Why you would want somebody like this in your life. Why you would continue to try to be with someone that truly doesn't want to be with you. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Because there's something in our attachment style that was developed when we were younger. And I'm actually getting that we need to go deeper into our upbringing. We need to go deeper into the psychology behind things. Maybe work with a therapist. Work with someone that can help you address those issues. Yep. It has something to do with partnerships, 2 of Cups. I do feel that you guys have the capability in this life to find the right partner for you, but it may not happen while you're still hanging on to this or while you're dealing with this behavior or displaying this behavior with others. We're not going to truly connect with someone if we are operating out of our wounds. that it's like a trauma response constantly. We're constantly responding to relationships based on our trauma. So do you feel that you guys are meant for a great love or a great partnership in this life? But it could be that maybe it's time for you to kind of pull away from a person, or maybe pull away for your need for a relationship right now and just kind of focus on yourself. Go within and take a look at your attachment style. Take a look at these things. Take a look at these things that maybe have kept coming up over and over and over again. So whereas we're actually being asked in our career or our social connections, as in friendships, coworker style situations, when it comes to actual like deep relationships, romantic relationships, we're kind of being asked to take a step back. Okay. And sometimes when we're taking a step back in love relationships, it's very good. It's a good form of practice to open yourself up to the people in your lives, such as your family members and your friends, your coworkers, because a lot of things about yourself are also going to come out in those relationships. There's not as much attachment though to it. So let's just say you and your friend kind of have a little bit of a thing where you're triggered by them or they're triggered by you. You're more likely to work it out with a friend and kind of listen and be open to changing or open to feedback than we are to a lover. Because the lover situation, there's so much triggering and trauma that's brought up that sometimes it just causes people to just run away. With a friend or a family member, it might not be as intense, or it might be done with a little bit more compassion. So we can lean into those relationships. We can learn from the people around us. We can perhaps even help ourselves and others to heal by connecting with the other people in our lives that truly, truly love us, right? Can help us to see some aspect of ourselves, help us to heal, etc. It's beautiful. So our soul families are here for a reason. Our actual families are here for a reason, to help us to learn from and heal. And we have Seeker of Flames. This right here is the Knight of Wands energy, Sagittarius energy. It's very much this lover in the night. It's very intense. So intense feelings are not necessarily love. Okay? That feeling of, oh my God, it's so freaking magical. It knocked my socks off. It's so intense. It's just like this crazy whirlwind, right? That's not always love. I'm not saying it can't be, but usually that kind of feeling where it's so intense, it's so fiery, it's so passionate, it usually burns out. Or when that honeymoon phase is over, that relationship usually cannot stand the test of time. So it's more of those slow burns, slow builds that last. Now, I'm not going to get all caught up in, what's going on right now, but I have been following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing. It's very interesting because I'm watching it step by step. So I started with, everything, going through all the grueling interjections or whatever they call those, where, they interrupt and then they've got to talk to the judge and they got to mute it's a long and drawn out process. But I wanted to, because when I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across something, and the way that it was presented was like, Johnny Depp is the victim here, and that Amber Heard is just crazy and nuts or whatever. That might be the case. And so then I started watching it from the very beginning, and I'm kind of like, hearing both sides so far, I'm like, wow, like I'm really gonna have to go into this with an open mind instead of immediately, because see, I have a trigger when it comes to men being taken advantage of because of what Mr. Moon went through. All right. He has a narcissistic ex that has campaigned his entire family to go against him. So a lot of the things that I'm hearing in this trial trigger me severely, to where I'm automatically in my mind looking at Amber Heard and saying that's who she is. Okay. But that might not be the case. I have to have an open mind, just like a jury member would have to have an open mind to look into this. Why did I bring that up? I don't know why I brought that up. What the hell did I bring that up for? I have no idea. Anyways, I think, oh, I know why. Because that's the one thing that he talked about when they first met. It was magic. It was intense. It was just like, maybe nothing he's ever felt before or whatever. However he explained it, it just reminded me of that. And then to see and hear, of course, through the audio and the text messages and things, how toxic their relationship became. So even though they might felt like it was true love at the time, it turned out not to be. And of course, there was a lot of reasons, a lot of maybe issues that people had that attributed to the problems. But it just reminds me of that. Sometimes what we think is intense magic isn't really true love, right? So we have to be willing to kind of part with some of those stories that we originally told ourselves, or part with some of those labels that are that are kind of floating around, that this is true love. This is what it looks like. This is what you really, really need in your life, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I kind of feel like we're hitting the reset button. We're going back to us, and we're kind of trying to figure out why we ended up in a mess with someone, or why we feel the way that we do, or why we operate, or why we are attracted to a certain type of person. That's all I wanted to say, even though that was like ridiculously long. So anyways, let's go ahead and now go into the energy of what is holding us back. Okay. So what does Spirit want us to know on what is holding us back at this time? So this would be like a blockage. What's holding us back? Ooh, unhealthy emotions. Very interesting. So it says, limit your interaction with toxic people. Keep things in perspective. Adjust your expectation of self and others. I like this because it's very balanced. Not every single thing that triggers us, or every single thing in our life is like, good or bad. Sometimes something is being triggered within us because we're interacting with someone who is triggering us. It's some kind of something, it's a perfect recipe. There are people in my life where I'm just like, oh, it's like oil and water. It just doesn't mix. Like, it's just like this reactive energy, right? So sometimes you have to step away from those types of connections because it's only bringing out the worst in you. But when you kind of take a look and stand back without that person's energy or that interaction in your life with them, you can look at yourself and go, gosh, you know what? I was acting really toxic too. It's not always, it's everyone else's fault why I feel this way. This happened to me. It's everyone else's fault. We're not taking any accountability. We're not kind of looking at ourselves and seeing what can we learn? What was brought out in me? I don't feel really good about that. I don't feel really good about how I acted in that situation. How can I do things differently next time? And then also examining why we acted that way. Where did that come from? Where did that response come from? Was it a trauma response, or was it an actual, like, I'm standing up for myself response? So I feel like we're being asked to go deeper into how we get caught up with toxic people, or how we get caught up in acting toxic with certain people. So this very fiery, intense person or situation, they bring out the fire in you. And you bring out the fire in them, and it's like, her. There is something to learn there, but should we stay attached to these people? So let's keep things into perspective. Not everything intense and amazing and just whirlwind. It doesn't mean it's good for you. Sometimes these connections with these types of people are just straight up unhealthy. So we also need to adjust our expectations of ourselves and other people. This is about keeping very healthy boundaries with ourselves and others. If you know that a situation or a person or that a kind of person is probably just going to end up in a disaster, pay attention to that. So that's why some of that hermit energy, it's kind of like your shadow is protecting you from interacting with things that you already know probably aren't going to be good for you. But also it's about healing yourself and being aware enough to know when you're operating from trauma or when you're operating from true discernment. It's a fine line. It's a real fine line. And it's a fine line that I'm still actually having quite difficulties with. Is that my intuition? Are those red flags coming up? Am I onto something, or am I just cynical and I don't believe anything? What is the difference? Where is this coming from? Why do I trust nothing? Or is that my intuition saying, oh yeah, no, this isn't good for you? I think sometimes that's true, and other times it's just straight up bullshit because it's a story that I'm telling myself because it feels familiar. I don't want to feel this. This sounds like something that I went through before. But we can't. I mean, we can, but to label everything, to label everybody a narcissist who's just emotionally unavailable. It's kind of like we're doing ourselves and others a disservice because not everybody is a freaking narcissist. But if you believe everyone's a narcissist or everybody's a liar or everybody's a con artist, then what's going to happen is you're going to just kind of end up feeling really afraid and cynical your entire life. And that is going to start to affect you in an unhealthy way. So something deep's going on this week for somebody. I'm feeling that for sure too. So I get that. So this is my Mystics Midnight Oracle. Oh my God, this is it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just laughing at myself right now. Is it really true insight or is it just your trigger? I was talking to Mr. Moon about this just the other day. And him and I are kind of the same, where we've been through a lot of trauma and a lot of deception with a lot of people. And what it's doing now is it's causing us to pretty much categorize if someone acts a certain way, we're just done. We're just not dealing with it. Our circle is very small. And it doesn't mean we need a lot of people in order to be happy or whatever, but our circle is ridiculously small. And sometimes I sit back and I think, wow, I remember the times when we had friends and then we were doing this and we were doing that. We don't have that anymore. So it does make me sad. So at what point have our own traumas and issues that are unhealed with these things and these people, at what point is it now ruling our life in a negative? Okay. And at what point is it, oh, you know what? I just sense that something's off with this person. So it's probably best to just maybe not go down that road, because sometimes we're actually right. So I feel that until we truly heal, we're not really going to know. And I get this question all the time. How do you know the difference between your true intuition and just your desires and what you want? How do you tell the difference between your ego versus your intuition? And I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. The only way that I know how to tell the difference is the more that I continue to work on my issues and work on my traumas. And I don't know that will truly be healed. So that's why I don't claim myself to be a psychic. That's why I don't claim myself to be, a fortune teller or making like hardcore predictions. First of all, I don't believe that can really be done because everyone has free will. But a lot of the times the things that we want to happen, sometimes we can hold on to that. And when that doesn't happen, sometimes we can be very, very disappointed. We can even beat ourselves up to say, I was so wrong. I was plugged into something false. I was plugged into something evil. I've seen big time people go down that path. I just think at the end of the day, it's an individual path. It's not a straightforward path for everyone. It's not cookie cutter. I just feel that we're all here for different reasons. We're all here to heal and to maybe be better people or better versions of ourselves. And how that happens really is truly up to us and how we deal with it or not deal with it, right? So this has also made me kind of take a step back with doing certain things, doing certain types of readings, because maybe my own unhealed emotions or traumas or triggers cause me to not be able to accurately tap into give proper insight. And I've actually had people come to me for a reading, and I've refunded them because I've realized that there are certain, I'll just use this as an excuse. Somebody, it was a straight up court case. They came to me with this court case that they had undergone, where someone had actually been in prison over some acts that were abusive towards them, but yet they still wanted to remain in that relationship once that person got out, and they were now hiding it from the family members. To me, that was an abuser taking advantage of a victim. And I'm sure that most people probably would have been in my shoes, but I was like, I absolutely cannot, because I am so triggered by this. I am so dead set on this person is an abuser. This person is taking advantage of you. There is a trauma bond that needs to be healed. I am not going to do a reading on this because I just was like, I'm so emotional. I cannot do this for this person. So because of just my own emotions, I know the difference between whether or not I can actually do something for someone. And in that case, I could not. I had to refund them their money. I felt really, really bad. I tried to be as sensitive as I could, but also just still be within my own integrity in the situation and decline it, you know? But that's the thing. When we have our own unhealed stuff going on, or we're not able to be impartial, I guess, which I was not in that case, I had to just say, I have no idea whether or not I'm going to accurately be able to tap into this for you. So I just have to just like disconnect. I have to say, no, I can't do this. So anyways, this is my Mystics Midnight Tarot. I don't know why I'm bringing a lot of examples of my own stuff. Maybe that's irritating people today, but it just is what it is. So hopefully there's somebody out there that can identify. So we have this one that's coming up, 4 of Blood, 4 of Cups, Discontent. So 4 of Cups is the energy here of kind of declining, rejecting, not feeling good inside, kind of missing the mark, missing the point. Maybe there is insight or answers being provided, but we don't want them. I feel like this is going to shift out of whatever I just said. This is going to go into a completely different vibration here. I feel like if you guys want to continue to hang on to a person or a situation, even though you know it's toxic as hell, because you're getting insights or psychic predictions, or you're watching tarot card readings that are telling you that this person loves you, is thinking about you, and that they're coming back. Look, I'm not here to say that that can't be the truth for some. But I do feel like some of you guys or some people in the past, this continued rejection from this person, this continued not being able to see that this person is not interested, because if they were, they would reach out, they would interact with you. People that really, truly want to be with you, people that truly love you, people that are truly interested in you, they show you, they tell you. It's not this back and forth game. Those are toxic relationships. Those are toxic people. Those are unhealthy attachments. So when we're turning to tarot, or we're turning to other people to kind of like look into our situation to tell us something that we actually already do know, which is this person is not interested, we're actually just perpetuating a cycle here because we're discontent with the result. We want something to change, but it always goes back to ourselves. If you want change, you have to start with yourself. And if you're constantly looking for other people to change so that way you can be happy, you're going to continuously be discontent in this life, because no one is going to be able to fulfill your happiness full time. You know, something is eventually going to happen where you're going to feel empty because you didn't take the time to fill up your own cup. So we are being asked to perhaps stop relying on answers or looking for answers that we want because we're discontent with the reality. Sometimes we do have to pay attention to the reality. The reality is this person is not returning our calls. This person has blocked us. This person has never reached out to us. This person doesn't seem interested. This person is with someone else. All of these things are happening because that's what's truly happening. So as much as we don't like it, and as much as we may want to spin out of control with that toxicity, we're being asked to, kind of stop that craziness and just accept that something is not happening for a reason. And the best thing that we could do is focus on how we can get healthy and love ourselves. So that's what we have. So I know that was a little dark, but, I'm not telling you guys anything I haven't gone through myself. Absolutely not. I'm not sitting here just happily married and perfect with Mr. Moon and to say, oh, I've got it all figured out. I don't, but I have gone through this crap, you guys, and I have come out the other side realizing that the more that you hang on to someone, the more that you want something to work, the more that you want to put a magical spin on things, the more just crazy you will become. So anyways, now we're going to go into life challenges. Help. Solution. Learn to manage your needs versus others' expectations. Very interesting. So let's see what this is about. We're going to go into the Abstract Oracle deck by my daughter, Kayla. Ooh, we have Skeleton Key. Decipher, unravel, and crack the code. This is kind of cool because this means that there is something that we need to learn. We need to decipher between something. We need to unravel what's going on here. We need to crack the code, crack the mystery. So this means that we need to learn about our needs versus what we expect from other people, or what we want versus what other people want from us, right? So life challenges, if you're experiencing life challenges where you feel like you're never getting your needs met, you need to go deeply within again. You need to figure out why this is happening. What is the programming here? What is this constant loop that we're stuck in? So let's go my Dark Night of the Soul Tarot. Sacrificial lamb, damn. Are we sacrificing our own needs for others? I'm getting yes. I'm getting here that right there, when we crack the code and we finally realize that we're stuck because we're hanging on to something, or we're waiting for somebody else to change, or we are constantly putting our own needs on hold on account of another person, we are going to stay stuck. When we stop doing this, that's when we're going to crack the code. That's what's key to get unstuck. That is what's key to get unstuck. If somebody has treated you like shit over and over and over again, and you keep going back over and over and over again, that right there, just that knowledge of knowing that that isn't helping the situation, it's actually enabling somebody to continue to treat you like crap. You've just cracked the code. You've literally just cracked the code and deciphered between self-respect versus disrespect, right? So if you guys are stuck in trauma or stuck in a challenging situation with someone, I am seeing here that you might need outside help to get unstuck. You might need to just make that like switch, as in, you know what? I don't like how someone is treating me. I don't like that my needs are not being met. I don't like that I keep doing everything and they just aren't really doing crap. Sometimes that's enough to unravel and undo whatever constructed fantasy that we may have built about someone. So sometimes that's just the solution right now. That's or right then and there. That's the key. The key is, if you're giving everything and someone isn't giving anything, it can't get any clearer than that. And if that still isn't enough to make you stop putting your life on hold or continuing to do something for someone and you're getting nothing in return, you may need to get that additional support from either a group or a counselor. Okay? So that's what we have on that. So now we're going to go into the direction and advice here. Okay, so there's quite a bit of cards in this particular section. So this could really be about anything, you guys. It does say the answer to your question is unlikely. So let's just say you are wondering about something or had a question about something. It's unlikely that maybe it's going to happen at this time or at all. All right, nothing is set in stone though, so try not to take that as the end all be all here. But let's go into my Divine Feminine Healing deck. We have Shining Star. You will always stand out above all the rest. So sometimes when it comes to this very like a star-crossed energy, or there's just someone that you specifically have in your mind, it's unlikely that maybe this person either feels the same or it's going to, transpire into what you want. Now, it's not going to be for everyone. I don't want to kill everyone's dreams there, but if you guys are laser focused on a particular person, it's unlikely that this is going to help. It's unlikely by you putting this person on a pedestal that this is going to kind of get you the results that you're looking for. Treat yourself like a star. I'm getting start there. Treat yourself like a star. And when you start treating yourself like a star, then other people are going to naturally see that you have this allure, this respect about you, or the self-respect. You're like a queen. You're commanding respect. You're demanding it. You know, you are living it. You are breathing and living and breathing that shining star energy. And shining stars, they're standing out above all the rest. They're not chasing anything. They're actually attracting what they need, what they want. not the other way around. So this right here is called the Honest Truth Tarot. Ace of Cups. See, it starts with you guys. Ace of Cups. This is you. This is your cup. This is your cup. It starts with you. Love yourself. That's it. And what's really cool, oh my gosh, I love this. What was one of the messages here for love? True love. True love. True love starts with yourself. Treat yourself like a shining star, and other people will treat you the same. But it's unlikely until you start doing that, that's going to happen for you guys. So our last one is timelines. Timelines. When will something happen? So maybe when will you heal? When will you truly love yourself? Or maybe when will you forget about this person? If that's a problem for you guys. When will something happen? Okay, so we have winter. So that could be different for anybody. So we are in kind of springtime right now. So it's autumn on the opposite end of the world. So it could just be very soon, the next season. Or for some of you guys, it could be a little bit of time, you know, until this happens. But winter, something perhaps is going to take place. Oh, I like that. This is my Spirits of Darkness and Light Divination deck. Spirit of Stone. I'm getting here that you're frozen, or your delay or your longing or your hanged man energy is going to change by the next season. You're going to pop out of this energy. You're not going to be delayed and frozen in time for much longer. I'm getting for some of you guys, it might take a little bit longer, but you will get out of this energy. You will not be stoned forever. I know some of you guys probably feel that way, that you're going to long and you're going to be in pain and you're going to be sad over a particular person forever, but you will not. You will not, I promise. If anybody knows that, this is me. I was in a state of stone for over a decade, and it just, it's just not the case anymore. It's like a freaking miracle. It's been lifted. It's wonderful. And I had to go through certain phases of my journey to get there, but it can be done. It happened. And we have judgment, but you've got to let the past go. You have to let the past go. That's the only way. The judgment card is the past. It's the past energy. And it's just something that if we don't release the past and we don't learn from the past, we're going to most likely repeat these mistakes. And I think for me, when I came into my relationship with Mr. Moon, I thought that by doing that, I was going to be able to be free from the past. It didn't work that way. I still carried all of those wounds and all of that trauma into my relationship, and then of course into my marriage. But it was throughout that time of my relationship with Mr. Moon that I was able to work out my traumas and issues. Now, that happened to Mr. Moon as well. He left a relationship with a full-on narcissist, and he had a lot of trauma and a lot of wounds that he carried on and even projected onto me. So together, it was like we both worked out our traumas, through each other, almost destroyed the marriage, but then ultimately saved it. So it's not about perfection. It's not about true love looks like true love from the very beginning. Sometimes it's something that is a disaster, but then turns out into just a beautiful gift, It just morphs, it transforms, it's a journey. It's not just perfect from the get-go, even though we did have a really, really good honeymoon phase. Let me tell you, it was definitely a honeymoon phase that did feel very magical. But it was a different kind of magical because I had an intense connections with people before, which is part of some of my wounds. And that was completely different. With Mr. Moon, it was like a coming home. It was a different kind of, it almost felt destined because after I left here to go back to California, I was like, there's something in me that knows that this is where I belong. I belong with him. Like this is the next phase of my life. So it was something in me that just like an inner knowingness, but it was calm, but it was inner knowingness enough to know that it was time for me to make plans to give my job notice and to make accommodations to move here. And so when you know. So my point is that, things can be somewhat magical, but it wasn't that same crazy intensity where I would have just laid my life down for someone, which I had felt before. And that was one of the most toxic, trying to abandon myself and lose myself in another person. I've never felt anything before that or since then, because that had something to teach me about myself. Which, if you feel like you want to lay your life down, and it's not the same thing. I've heard this in my comments before. I don't want to hear it because it's not even the same thing. You want to jump in front of a bus for your child. That's a completely different thing. But I'm talking about, you're going to abandon all of your needs and you're going to, let's just say, start doing things that you would never do that are really unhealthy because you want to keep this person in your life. I'm talking about that kind of crap. When you're willing to just go against your own morals and integrity because you want to be what this person wants. That's what I did. That's what I did. And I completely lost myself. And then I was dumped. Then I was completely trashed. I was treated the way that I treated myself, really. And it took me a very long time to heal. It took me a very long time to bounce back from that. But I can say here today that I did finally transmute that energy. Now, I still have other issues in other areas of my life. It's not that everything is perfect and healed, but that is no longer, it is no longer a focus for me. It's no longer this intense energy. It is no longer with me the way that it had been with me for so long. And it feels beautiful. It feels wonderful. It feels freeing. I feel like I can finally explore things, that I wasn't able to explore about myself before. I feel like I can finally enjoy things that I wasn't able to enjoy before, because that was standing in the way for a lot of my time, a lot of my life. But it feels good. So anyways, you guys, I'm sorry if that was crazy, all over the place, just didn't resonate. I just have to trust that whoever that was resonating for today, that you were meant to hear this message and that it helped you in some way. Anyways, you guys, I will see you throughout the rest of the week for some readings. Unless I get a migraine or something, then I probably won't bring a reading tomorrow, but I will certainly be in touch with you guys throughout the rest of the week with some other stuff. All right, you guys, take care. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.